Before anyone ever calls Capricorn cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable, there's a question that deserves to be asked. First one most people avoid because the answer is uncomfortable. What if emotional distance isn't a lack of feeling, but a survival strategy? If you're Capricorn or you've ever loved one, stay with this. Because what you're about to hear isn't flattering, comforting, or easy, but it might finally explain the weight you've been carrying in silence for years. And if this resonates, don't turn away. Sit with it. Let it land. Because Capricorn doesn't need another compliment about strength. Capricorn needs truth. Capricorn didn't become serious by choice. They didn't wake up one day and decide to be responsible, controlled, and emotionally contained. They became that way because life demanded it early, too early. While others were allowed to explore, express, fall apart, and be reassured, Capricorn learned something different. Emotions don't slow the world down. Pain doesn't earn sympathy. And no one rearranges reality just because you're overwhelmed. Ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, consequence, discipline, and limitation, Capricorn grows up fast, often faster than anyone realizes. Saturn doesn't offer shortcuts. It teaches through delay, pressure, and responsibility. And Capricorn feels that pressure long before they have the language to name it. They learn early that reliability is praised while vulnerability is tolerated at best. That being useful keeps you safe. That being strong keeps you needed. So Capricorn adapts. They don't just mature, they restructure themselves from the inside out. They build internal systems designed to prevent collapse. Emotional regulation becomes emotional containment. Independence becomes self-reliance taken to an extreme. Capricorn doesn't harden their heart, they harden their framework. Their nervous system learns that there is no room for breakdowns, no margin for error, no safety net underneath. This is where the dark side of Capricorn truly begins, not with ambition, but with a belief so deeply ingrained it feels like reality itself. My value depends on what I can endure. Capricorn stops asking, "How do I feel?" and starts asking, "What still needs to be handled?" Feelings become inefficient, needs become inconvenient, exhaustion becomes familiar. Pain is postponed indefinitely, filed away under later, because there is always something more urgent demanding attention. Capricorn doesn't suppress emotions because they don't have them. They suppress emotions because emotions once interfered with survival, because when they needed support, it wasn't consistently there, because when they expressed need, it didn't lead to safety, because when things fell apart, they were still expected to function, so they became their own foundation. This is why Capricorn appears calm under pressure, why they rarely panic, why they continue moving forward even when everything inside them is screaming to stop. But what looks like resilience from the outside is often emotional self-denial on the inside. Capricorn believes often unconsciously that if they collapse, everything collapses. So they don't allow themselves to even rest become suspicious. Rest feels undeserved. Joy feels conditional. Pleasure feels like a distraction from responsibility. Capricorn often struggles to enjoy what they've built because enjoyment requires presence, and presence requires letting go of vigilance. And vigilance has kept them alive. In relationships, this internal structure becomes both Capricorn's greatest strength and their deepest wound. Capricorn loves deeply, intensely, permanently, but they love carefully. They don't fall quickly. They don't idealize. They don't chase emotional highs. Love, to Capricorn, is not a feeling, it's a commitment. It's consistency. It's showing up even when it's inconvenient. It's choosing responsibility over impulse. They express love through reliability, through loyalty, through protection, through staying when things get difficult. But emotional exposure terrifies them because needing someone feels like surrendering control. And control is how Capricorn stays safe. Dependence feels dangerous. Vulnerability feels like handing someone the power to destabilize everything they've worked to hold together. So Capricorn keeps emotional distance not to punish others, but to protect themselves. They give support easily. They receive it with discomfort. They listen deeply. They reveal selectively. They carry others' weight without complaint. They hide their own completely. Over time, this creates a quiet isolation that no amount of success can fix. Capricorn may be admired, respected, relied upon, yet feel profoundly unseen, because no one knows how tired they really are, how heavy the responsibility feels when the performance stops, how badly they want to rest without guilt, to be held without explanation, to exist without needing to justify their presence. Capricorn often feels loneliest when everything appears to be going well. Because success doesn't relieve pressure, it increases it. There is more to maintain now, more expectations, more responsibility. The structure they built to survive becomes the standard they're imprisoned by. Life becomes a series of milestones, goals, benchmarks. Capricorn measures time through productivity and progress. There is always something else to achieve, something left undone. And even when they reach the top, satisfaction feels fleeting, because satisfaction would require letting go of vigilance. And vigilance has been their shield for so long that lowering it feels unsafe. The darkest belief Capricorn carries isn't about failure. It's about being human. A belief that says emotions are liabilities, that softness must be earned, that love is conditional, granted only in exchange for usefulness, strength, and reliability. Capricorn often fears that if they stop being strong, they'll become unnecessary. If they rest, they'll fall behind. If they need, they'll be abandoned. So they keep going, even when their body signals burnout, even when their heart feels empty, even when their inner world is quietly eroding. Capricorn rarely breaks dramatically. They erode slowly, through emotional numbness, through chronic exhaustion, through relationships that collapse under the weight of unspoken needs, through a subtle sense of meaninglessness that success can't fix. Healing for Capricorn is not about becoming softer in a careless way. It's about redefining strength. It's about understanding that endurance does not have to be constant, that worth is not proven through suffering, that rest is not a reward, it's a necessity. A healed Capricorn still builds, still leads, still commits deeply, but they stop using achievement as armor. They stop equating self-worth with productivity. They allow themselves to be supported without guilt. They learn that vulnerability doesn't make them unreliable, it makes them real. Saturn is not just the planet of limitation, it's the planet of wisdom earned through time. Saturn teaches that structure is meant to support life, not replace it. Capricorn is not meant to live forever in survival mode. They are meant to create systems that allow life, including their own, to breathe. The most radical transformation for Capricorn is realizing this. You don't have to earn your right to exist. You don't have to justify your presence through endurance. You don't have to carry everything alone to deserve love. And when Capricorn finally allows themselves to believe that, not just intellectually, but emotionally, something shifts. The weight lightens, the walls soften, the nervous system relaxes. Strength stops being something they cling to desperately and becomes something they can finally rest inside. That is when Capricorn's true power emerges, not as survival, not as control, but as grounded wisdom, as quiet authority, as a life that is no longer just managed, but finally lived.